What Compass is saying is this is right for the customer, more options. And then the email is saying, do this because it's important for Compass's growth. This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 372 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
Nicole, we've got a story, an op-ed from Leo Pareja, CEO of eXp. He'll be at BAM BBQ next week.
Can't wait.
I can't wait too.
We got some burgers and dogs that we're going to grill up over here.
We're doing a office party live stream. Obviously,
party, I would go real easy. This is like
I think our landlord's in the building where Nicole's sitting right now.
No, I gave them our insurance policy. They're fine. They okayed it.
Tell them it's a party. It's an event. If you're in driving distance to Connecticut and you want to come to the live stream.
Yeah, I'm working on getting a band too,
Yeah, we're going to do it all. Well, the band, I actually have to do the event, Nicole, so they have to be able to hear me. But
I mean,
BAMBBQ.live if you want your free ticket to the virtual experience, tons of entertainment. But Leo will be a part of that. And he's a part of the news. He's a part of the conversation right now. He wrote an op-ed to Inman on some of the stuff that's going on with Compass. What's interesting about this is there is a screenshot of an email that could put Compass into hot water. We'll break it down. Second part of the pod, Nicole, there's a Newsweek story on how consumers are reacting to their agent experience post-closing. A ton of comments on this thing, and we'll break that down as well. But a little bit of update. We talked about Rory Gold. Was that 2 weeks ago? Last week? Last week. Some of the notes that James Wiggins...
Did they try to hook you up again?
Well, I mean, so Rory and I chatted. He's going to be coming into the office next week. So if you want to meet him, he's coming in next week.
Our office here?
Our office. He's in New York based,
okay.
And we're gonna be shooting a full interview.
Oh, you gave in, you little whore.
What do you mean gave in?
Did it?
I listen. I'm open to the discussion.
Aww.
I mean, we're gonna talk a little bit more about kind of what Leo's thoughts were. I'd love to talk to Robert. Obviously.
Yeah, I know. That's who I thought you were holding out for. Getting a little loose in your old age.
But I think some of Rory's comments walk the line of really not what the messaging. Maybe this is why Reffkin doesn't want to talk. Maybe I'm going to ask Rory, hey, are you a sacrificial lamb here?
Nicole said it, not you.
Yeah. I mean, Nicole said you might just be kind of feed out there. I don't know, but we'll find out. I'm going to have that conversation. So stay tuned for that.
I didn't call him feed.
You said sacrifice. What did you call him?
I didn't say anything.
Could he be being sacrificed?
I mean, I don't know that I used that word, but I didn't call him feed.
All right. I said that.
That animal being thrown in front of the vultures.
All right. Leo Pareja, CEO, eXp, op-ed says, let's talk about what this all really is. Talking about Compass's 3-phase marketing strategy. Leo says, and he writes to Inman, Compass wants to control inventory. They're not hiding that motivation. In this email screenshot, we're going to break down why Leo says they're not hiding the motivation of controlling inventory. This is similar to what James Wiggins talked about it on last week's pod, said in his notes about Rory, the president of growth at Compass, who I'll be talking to next week. Rory Gold said on the Ricky Carruth pod, said a lot of statements, according to James' notes, that are just like obviously doing what's right for agent, not consumer, quite the opposite of why Compass has said that they are running their 3-phase marketing model. Okay, so on paper, Leo says it's all about consumer choice, okay? Being able to test the market with a Compass exclusive, go coming soon to kind of further test price, demand, and then public launch. In reality, Leo says it's about controlling listing exposure. In quarter one of 2025, Compass reported that, remember, Compass is a publicly traded company. They reported that 48.2% of its listings entered this funnel. So 1 out of 2 listings went through the 3-phase marketing funnel. Nearly half of their homes were shielded from the broader market at the outset. Now, this is Leo's word. Nearly half of their homes shielded from the broader market. No matter what language you wrap it in, it's steering. Okay, so Nicole, here's the email. Haley, let's make sure this is on screen. I want Nicole's reaction first. The names are blacked out. Okay,
Good thing.
this is from a compass.com email. You see in the signature down below, managing broker. So a managing broker of a Compass office. This is back on April 3rd. And it's to what is now a former Compass agent, was obviously a Compass agent at time of email. So former Compass, in this op-ed, says this agent is now a former Compass agent. So obviously this former Compass agent left, maybe didn't like the direction, and now, shared this email. Obviously, certainly with Leo, this is his op-ed. So the email from the managing broker at Compass to the agent: congrats on 2 new listings this week. Your spring marketing activities are rolling.
Rolling.
Not on E, but just rolling with the, you get that, Nicole?
Yeah, I get
Is
it.
that
I get it. Yep.
all right.
Yep. I'm not that old.
Back to your Yukon days. All right. I did notice that both properties did not start in private exclusive status. Little observation here from the managing broker. I would like to ask you a favor. Can you help me out? Ooh. On your upcoming listings, I ask for a commitment to use our 3-phase marketing program to expand the option for your sellers. These steps are so important to what we want to accomplish collectively at Compass. On your next private exclusive listings, we would be glad to distribute them to the office as well. Also, I want your sellers to benefit from the social media marketing that Compass provides on every listing that goes into Compass coming soon status. There's an attachment. Blank and I are both available to help you learn the easy steps to leveraging the 3-phase marketing. Let us know how we can help Nicole. Leo classifies this email as steering. Is this steering from the Compass managing broker?
What I'm getting the sense of here is that this manager, I bet, I don't know if they're getting a bonus or if they're required to have
Better
a
believe it.
certain amount in this private exclusive. Like, I'm not getting the sense that it's steering.
Oh, they're definitely, I don't have proof of this, but if I were to make a bet,
Yeah.
I'm going to say these managers are incentivized.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. They must need like a certain percentage in,
Benchmark.
yeah, in this 3-phase marketing. So I feel like steering it. I don't know. I don't want to disagree with the guy. He's clearly much smarter than I am. I feel like I know managers well enough that their primary focus is to recruit and obviously hit their benchmarks. This email is definitely solidifying that to me. Um, and obviously really encouraging. This was in April though. So this was before, Zillow is not going to be putting it out there. So I don't know. I'm not,
It's before Zillow was even putting it out there. So
they're pushing their marketing strategy. I think maybe I'm not seeing any harm. I'm not really seeing any harm in it. I'm not. I don't.
is this for Compass or for consumers? Because the 3-phase marketing program Compass has
Well,
said is
but they
for
are
consumers.
saying how I get it. They're saying how this, want to accomplish collect like what they're trying to do at Compass. But again, they do say we would, I want to, like I want your sellers to benefit from this. So Do they have their best interest in mind? I'd like to think so. I do think that they think that this product is definitely beneficial. It's I mean, again, it's a three-phase marketing program we talked about a lot. Like, we loved their wording and their strategy and their
Love it.
plan. So I just think that they're making sure that their agents are actually utilizing it, and if they're not, let's chat. Let me help
I,
you leverage
yeah.
this so that your sellers can benefit from this.
I love
Um,
that they have a plan. It's one of the reasons inside
yeah.
of BAMX
I'm
we
not
came out.
feeling like this is steering. I feel like it would be red flag if that's what they were telling their agents now, like, "Stick to the plan." Like,
Yeah, I mean, to
um
your point, this email's April, so
yeah.
um, I don't have any indication that they're not telling their agents to stick to the plan. The um, this is one of the reasons I love the three-phase marketing strategy as a plan. I love it as a concept. It's one of the reasons we built out framework for a three-phase marketing strategy inside of BAMX for all the members to use. But here's what Leo says. Let's be clear. This isn't about helping sellers or offering consumers more options. It's about rigging the game, keeping inventory out of sight to create artificial scarcity, confusing the public, and boosting agent commissions. That email doesn't talk about the seller's goals. It doesn't.
I
It
agree.
doesn't mention fair housing or inclusive access. It's about funneling deals inside of a closed loop. That's not a marketing strategy. That's market
I
manipulation, plain and
I
simple.
This email is from a broker to one of the agents that's I'm making assumptions in their office. So, "Hey, let's sit down." Like, um, if I chat GPT'd an email that was 5 honestly, I'm lucky. This person's probably lucky that they even opened this email. I mean, 99% of the emails that come from my broker, I'm not even necessarily opening. So the fact that this was even opened, I feel like is a small miracle. But I don't know that you need to get into all of that in an email. I definitely don't like the line, "Can you do me a favor?" Like, that's a little weird. Because now it is sort of more about me and not about your seller.
The
Um,
email is clearly not positioned in aligning with what were the seller's goals. It's all about a product. Like there's not a dispute that this email positioned by the managing broker is about pushing a product
correct.
that Compass wants in the market. And so the way the email is written, I'm not saying that this is solely the belief of the company. I'm saying the way that this particular email is written from this particular managing broker is positioning everything to do with Compass's best interests in positioning
Mhm,
this product,
mhm,
Compass exclusives,
mhm,
into the market, not the seller's goals, not the seller's best interest,
mm,
and how that agent ultimately landed on publicly listing both of those listings back
yeah.
in April. I mentioned last week the Ricky Carruth pod with President of Growth, Rory Gold,
And you said you were gonna watch it.
yep, and I'll be talking to him next week, and I'll be asking him questions about that pod. I'll be asking him questions about what
Did you watch it?
yep,
Okay.
I'll be asking him questions about what I said on last week's, and I'll be asking him questions about this. But Rory confirmed that this entire strategy, this is now Leo's words, is designed to win more listings and close more deals. And that was that is what he said. He did talk about agent benefits at times way more than he talked about consumer benefits. He did not mention that consumer value. And so here's a quarter two 2024 earnings call where Robert Reffkin quote says the foundation of every entity's success in real estate is access to inventory. The source of success for all players in the industry, whether MLSs, aggregators, buyer agents, or listing agents, is access to inventory. And access certainly is power. Compass wants to be the only one holding the keys, is what Leo writes. Because remember, Compass claims that their exclusive is open to the public because somebody can go on compass.com. The market is smart enough to say nobody's going on compass.com at scale in comparison to what the MLS feeds, that being Homes and Zillow and Realtor.com. Okay. 94% of their exclusive listings end up on the MLS anyways. This is Compass's numbers. So the time in exclusives for that 6% that don't end up on the MLS, it's a way to generate leads, not only, listing leads, but additional buyer leads. And it's being called seller choice, but is it truly what's right for the seller? Some of the language, and this is maybe why the attorneys are saying, Robert, don't go out on long form pods, go out on, 5 minutes on Fox Business or CNBC or whatever, where you can get 2 or 3 layup questions. Maybe the attorneys are saying, don't have a long form conversation around this, because some of what we've seen the last couple of weeks, and I'll ask Rory about this when he's in office, when he's in our studio, leans more towards it's about us than the customer. And I think Leo makes a good point in this op-ed that is what's coming off. We're going to give them a chance to obviously open up that discussion and explain.
I
But
guess.
this email to me shows that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I know even our broker's model is that like the agent is like is their, their customer. So again, I
Yes.
just
No. What you just said, I think is important.
yeah.
Our broker, been in business 51 years. It's William Ravis and Howard Hanna are the 2 largest privately owned brokers in the country. Compass is obviously a Wall Street broker, right? They're publicly traded.
Yeah.
One thing about William Ravis, they've said for years, the agent is our customer. They don't waver from that. So you don't see in public statements William Ravis saying, we're doing this because it's for the consumer. We're doing that because it's for the consumer. We do X, Y, and Z for the agent so they can have the entrepreneurial flexibility to best serve the customer. What Compass is saying is this is right for the customer, more options. And then the email is saying, do this because it's important for Compass's growth. So they're saying one thing in a static post on IG from CEO level Robert Reffkin or from headlines. And then when Rory Gold gets on and gets into a conversation, a long form with Ricky Carruth, where it's unscripted, or you get this email from April and it shows what a managing broker is saying to their agent, those are saying other things.
Yeah.
And so that's where you got to have consistency. Which one is it? Is it all about the consumers, or kind of like what Leo pulled out from the Q2 earnings call, talking about the success in real estate being access to inventory? That's how am I successful as a business? That's what they're talking about there. Which one is it? Is it what's right for customers, or is it what's right for Compass? I've said a million times, I got no problem Compass doing this.
It's an option. If a seller wants to do it, they get to do it.
I got no problem.
Yeah.
It's not illegal. Go run the play. Don't cry when there's a listing standard on Zillow. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
And every business is making their own decisions. And I've gotten heat in the comments. I don't know, Haley, if we want to bring up any of the comments. I mean, I'm getting heat.
As long as I'm not in them.
Oh, they're ripping you to shreds.
Oh, I don't ever want to know.
No, they're not. They're not ripping you to shreds. I'll pull some up here, Nicole, and then we're going to move on to this Newsweek story, which ties into this. The Newsweek story is doesn't tie in directly, but indirectly it ties in. It's fascinating. There was a bunch of comments. I
try not to read them anymore. And I try not to chime in because people don't like when I talk too.
A lot of Roxanne says Nicole missed you, so there's one comment. Zillow forcing listen to go in the MLS antitrust. I'm a bit vengeful on the subject, not because of Zillow, but because if NAR is paying due to be forced funded, is Zillow going to be in the hook for antitrust? How many agents on the BAM podcast are Zillow Premier agents or Flex? I wrote less than half. Okay, just clear that up. Less than half of BAM contributors are way less now, or Zillow Flex. Zillow is in violation of MLS rules. So a lot of agents feel like Zillow is running an antitrust game. That's going to get figured out in court. I just don't think Homes.com, Realtor.com, and Redfin and Compass.com and all these other portals existing and competing for buyer traffic is evidence that there is an antitrust situation going on here, but I'm not an attorney. I could be completely wrong on that. And let me know what you think down below. All right, Newsweek says there was a couple closed on a house and they were stunned by what their agent said post-closing. In fact, they are asking the question on this Reddit post, did we do something wrong? Okay, our house went under contract after one afternoon of showings and one open house. Okay. They only put in 2 offers, and the second one is the one we ended up buying. So they listed a house, 1 afternoon of showings, 1 open house. They looked for homes, all the same agent contracted for both deals. They put in 2 offers. The second one is the house they ended up buying. And so when the closing day came around, these buyers were shocked when the realtor didn't offer as much as a thank you. When they added up the transactions, it was about $30,000 from both transactions in compensation. Our agent did nothing for us. The OP wrote, not a card, a bottle of champagne, even a verbal thank you. Did we do something wrong? We were expecting anything or certainly anything. We weren't expecting anything or anything extravagant. But after the $30K paycheck, we were hoping for at least a little thank you. The post prompted hundreds of responses with many users sharing similar responses. One wrote, upon our closing, our realtor immediately asked for stuff that the seller was leaving behind in the house. She wanted lamps for her daughter. Uncle. Hey, how about those lamps? You going to be using those?
You don't want them?
Not only did she not give us anything, she wanted to take stuff away. Count yourself lucky. Another described receiving wide despite being pregnant. While a third that's Nicole. That's a little. Come on. Did you know she was pregnant? Come on now. Come on. Help me out.
I feel like there's 3 sides to every story. That's
a third recalled being given champagne, though they didn't drink. That's not, obviously not knowing your agent. Realtor Jessica Wins agrees, telling Newsweek, in real estate, the relationship shouldn't end at closing. It's just the beginning of the long-term client trust. Simple thank you, whether it's a handwritten note, thoughtful gift, or even a follow-up call, can make the difference in showing appreciation and professionalism. Nicole, I just stopped by a buyer's home last week.
Is this a real story or are you just making this up?
This is a real story.
Okay.
I just stopped by the home, a couple hours after the closing as they were unpacking and all that kind of stuff, and spent a little time there. And, everybody listening to this pod, this isn't a news flash. This is a big emotional moment. If they envision themselves being there over the next 10, 20, 30 years, this is a big moment. Now, I've always said, like, following up with people for, once a year, cookies are cute. Information and real conversations is a lot more clever. I like what this agent said, Jessica Wins, about the relationship shouldn't end at the closing. Even just a follow-up call can make the difference. Just having a conversation. Hey, I know we earlier today did the walkthrough. You closed successfully. Want to, thank you. Send my appreciation for your business. And I also want to just make sure everything's going well for you guys over there. That kind of thing, right? Just the conversation. I honestly don't think you have to, if you're articulating everything that you do, like this agent felt like their agent didn't do anything.
Clearly.
If you're in a position where you're not articulating your value, you got to figure out a way to do that. James Dwiggins, I had the interview with him. He's launched this company Raise, where it outlines
RAZE,
RAYSE.
Okay.
It identifies, and a bunch of MLSs are going to have access to this here pretty soon. It identifies everything that you do. So like you hire an attorney and they send over, all the, here's how many hours, here's how many emails, here's how many, this will send a report before the closing to your client of all, think about it. If they did 2 offers, that means this agent sourced homes, toured homes, wrote 2 offers, had a pre-marketing phase on the listing. I'm not defending this particular agent that didn't
Yeah.
even say thank you or whatever the case. But, to do those 2 deals, there was a whole list of different behind the scene tasks that the
Yeah.
agent did. The
For
agent
sure.
didn't articulate it.
Yeah.
And so a simple thank you and just sending over that report. That's why I loved,
I'm sure if you ask that agent, she or he would say they said thank you, but that's why there's like 3
and
sides
so
to all of it.
you think the consumer's making this up?
No, I'm not thinking they're making it up at all. I think I'm agreeing with what you're saying. Everybody has their own experience. So the agent had their experience. The buyer had their experience. But again, if this is feedback from your buyer, then obviously they did not get the experience that you thought you were giving. So obviously, if you did say thank you, it wasn't enough, or it wasn't enough times, or you just didn't show true appreciation for the transaction, because they didn't feel it. So I again I that I just that's why there's so many, everyone's having their own experiences. And again, I mean, we talk about this even when it comes to like listing presentations, right? Like some people consume information very differently, and I think that's the same thing for buyers too. Even if you're not necessarily telling them your value, I think you need to obviously show the value. I can't tell you that I necessarily articulate what it is that I do, but I mean, there's probably not one buyer out there that I haven't helped, like find a plumber or an electrician, or like they need their lawn mowed, or like like there are things that obviously come into play outside of just that. But again, I think that that's why there's 3 sides, because I'm certain that that agent probably did feel as though they said thank you. If anything, I think this is a great reminder. Again, we're midway through the year. Some people have been in the business 10, 15, 20. Some people in the business in 6 months. I just think these are all just really good reminders of like what it is that we need to
I
like continue to improve on. Like, cool, I'm so glad that you're making 15 TikToks, but like this is what your buyer is walking away from, you know? So
A simple text, "I appreciate you."
yeah. And then
I
maybe
think
it's
can
an
go a long
email
way.
too. Maybe it's an email, maybe it is a text, maybe again, like you're
So,
saying, it's a phone call. Like like I just think it's important. It's nice to feel like appreciated. I like feeling appreciated. Um so I think that I'm certain that that individual did say thank you. I just think that it wasn't heard.
agents, we all want and need more listings. We want to be able to capture the business from our clients. So it means we need to stay in front of them, front and center when they're thinking about real estate, when they're making a real estate decision. So I love what Reminder Media is doing for agents across the country, producing high quality physical and digital magazines where you can tell a full story about what's going on in your community, what's happening in the market, and reminding people that you are the expert that they should be reaching out to when it comes to making a real estate decision. Reminder Media is a resource that you need in your corner to stay in front of your clients. You also get a free sample magazine by using the link that I'll put right down below. Check out Reminder Media and everything that they have to offer you and helping you stay in front of your clients. So this realtor who commented to Newsweek, Jessica Wins, when she says the relationship shouldn't end at closing, that's exactly right. And there's a
Yeah.
few different ways you can articulate that. You can articulate that by continuously just kind of keeping in touch, stopping by, seeing if they need that plumber, that landscaper, like Nicole's talking about, making connections in the community, kind of that hand-to-hand grassroots combat. One of the things, and Nicole, we just made an announcement last week inside of BAMX that Mosaic is now free for all BAMX members. This is like an $1,800 a year savings for BAMX members where they have a client
That's
portal.
awesome.
So you could literally, if you're a BAMX member, you could call your client after, say, hey, there's no pressure. I opened up this platform for you to be able to,
All of our vendor partners. Yeah.
access all your closing documents. It's going to give you, a heads up on insurance when that's due. Tax time, it's going to send you those closing documents so that you need to find that. It's going to give you access to all my vendors, my black book of vendors. That portal that Mosaic has created is what Jessica's talking about, a relationship that lives through the length of the home ownership, which is multiple years. On average, it's like 12 years. And it's just the beginning of building that long-term client trust.
Yeah.
So,
It doesn't
listen,
mean that you have to like them. It doesn't mean you have to invite them to your kids' birthday parties. Like, I
and there
think that
was
I think that there's a very important fine line there that sorry, there is someone yelling and screaming outside. I'm a little distracted.
there was some comments on this Reddit post where there were some agents that had a completely different experience, and they're like, man, my agent is like inviting me to those family parties every single year. So
And some of those clients may be that, but just because you didn't form a relationship deep enough for them to be invited to your kid's birthday doesn't mean that they don't deserve sort of that same type of um, you know, nurturing, afterwards.
yeah.
But don't think that they need to be invited to the birthday party in order for it to be a lifelong relationship too. I mean, I have yet, I think, to invite anybody to any of my kids' anythings that I've done deals with.
The reason I say cupcakes are cute is because if you're going to do cupcakes, it's fine. I love it. Like Glenda Baker always says, the food is kind of the key unlocking somebody's heart. She says something like that. And I get that. That's cool. I love
That's
it.
her. She's from the South.
What I also think is, and I think Glenda, knowing Glenda a little bit, would agree with this, is just, being able to also on the back end of the cookie, have the conversation relevant to what's going on in the market. If they need information, if they need that, black book of vendors that Nicole has in her mind, and many agents, have in their Mosaic platform, right? Like,
I have mosaic. My head is a mosaic.
so yes, um, that's really important. And I think you can be very successful in this business just by having conversations with people at a regular clip, and not forgetting about them after the closing. And listen, the reason why this ties into what we're talking about with, Compass is over communicate. As the market gets slower, days on market goes higher. Delistings are happening at 47% more than they were happening last year. People are getting fired as an agent more often. Hey, I really wasn't aware of the plan that I was going into. Hey, I really expected this after closing. Expectations not met, expectations not met. What that tells me is agents are putting a 30-minute expectation in their mind to go sign listing paperwork, slap them in the MLS, and not doing. Nicole, Lee and I just spent 4 hours with sellers before getting a listing agreement signed, 2-hour sessions. Okay. To me, that experience walking in, I'm like, listen, man, I'm driving there and 4 hours total. Like, talk about that raise product where you're just
Yeah.
jacking up everything you do. Like, by the end of this thing, it's going to be obvious and clear that we've uncovered everything that we need to go over. It's not about the quickest listing appointment. It's about the one that sets them up for the most successful experience and have the least questions throughout the experience, because they know what's next, what's next, what's next.
Right.
All right, Nicole, what's next is we're going to sign off.
Let's go.
We'll have a new pod next week.
Next week.
And we're
And next
also
week is busy. We got us, you got Rory, you got
Bam
You got
Barbecue.
Bam Barbecue.
BamBBQ.live.
Let's
It's
go.
next week. The only way to get the free ticket is by signing up. It will fill up, and you want to be in there. Nicole's cup will be filled up. I'll have her come I'm gonna have you sit down next to me at the
I only hold my
damn
cup like this,
BBQ.
though. It's gotta be like a martini glass.
Cosmos.
Gotta.
Oh, you better put it in a red cup because property manager, I
Wait, are
don't
you
think is
recording
authorized.
from outside?
Yeah.
Oh. What if it rains? Should I get you a tent?
I mean, if it rains, we'll probably go inside.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Keep it real, guys, is your real word.
you guys.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
Arizona and West Coast agents, the only in-person BAM event this year is happening September 24th in Scottsdale, Arizona. Join us in Arizona for this full-day event, mid-tier pricing, halfway sold out, only 8 VIP tickets left, and we do still have general admission. There's a link down below if you're interested. September 24th, Scottsdale. Can't wait to see you there.